Hi everybody, my name is Dave, and today we're going to be talking about the Kickass wiring kit. Now you might be wondering what the Kickass wiring kit is. Basically, it's this right here. It's a nice, big, long cable that connects all the way back from the starter battery to the rear. Now, what I'm using it for is to control and power my Kickass battery box. I usually store this in the back to power my fridge and power a variety of other things. And I wanted the convenience of being able to run it off of my alternator and the starter battery without ideally draining the starter battery. And so that's one of the projects that we're working on today. All right, so we're at the front of the car now, and this is kind of where the magic starts. When you get your cable, it's all wound together, and at the far end, like I just showed you, it has an Anderson plug. Well, that Anderson plug isn't connected, so you're gonna have to connect that. But what it does do is it allows you to snake your wire however you want to. And again, this is my 2016 4Runner, but you can snake this in just about anything and everything. So it's kind of up to you whether you want to go through the interior of the car or under, or however works for you. Again, that's kind of a preference between everybody. And before we get started, really a big thing that's going to be important is if you're not sure, find a professional to get it done. Now, what you're looking at here is, again, I've got my starter battery, I've got my relays, and I've got my harness. And now everything comes that you need to get this set this far in the kit. So the best way to do that I found was to go through the interior. And the easiest way to do that was to cut into the grommet. Okay, now bear with me a little bit. This part might be a little interesting, just trying to get underneath. But once you fished it into, for me, through the firewall, again, preference, it's choice, it's what do you want to do. Then you got to find that coming out, and that's where your fish, if you fish it properly, it makes it real easy to find out. So give me just a second, we'll get underneath and we'll do that. But one of the first things we're going to do is I'm going to use my Kickass torch, which is super handy, nice little light that I use to help me find things. You've got a regular flashlight as well as kind of just a general spotlight going forward. So we'll do that, we'll get under the hood and we'll see kind of where that's at. Okay, so now we're underneath and you can kind of see where that grommet was before. There it is, coming right out. So just to the left of the emergency brake. And so as you fish that out, pull it all the way in, and then we're gonna move that through the rest of the interior. Okay, so now as we're looking at the interior, we're gonna need to remove this panel that's right here to the left, and also kind of our floorboard. Now they use just a simple kind of a pry bar to get underneath, and you're gonna pop these all the way off. So it's gonna look just like this. Let's get that out of the way. And then you're gonna have to kind of do the same thing and pop this out of the way. And then you're gonna run your cords to the back of that, all the way down, like you can see this right here. You can pop these tabs off and then just get a nice clean line all the way down the running board. Now here, when you come to the panel right here, you have a couple different options. Number one is you can go into the inside. If you can see right here is where the seat belt is, and you can unbolt that. I believe it's a 14 millimeter. All I did was I kind of pried this back here, and then I taped my fishing line to a really long screwdriver, and I pretty much just forced it all the way through till like you get to the other side, and then pulled it through. And again, it comes through right here. And again, same thing, you have to pop this part off here. And then right here, there are two screws. If you can see, there's a cover right here and a cover right here. Pop those off, unscrew them, and then this whole section pulls out. So this whole area from here and here is pulled out right there. And again, same as before, just fish the line all the way out and go from there. At this point, this is kind of where it got a little interesting for me. For me, I didn't want to go through the wheel well and kind of continue to go that way. I wanted to have a little bit more access. So I had to trim the back part of this underneath so that it would still fit, and so that I would get it fit enough to get the screw back on. So that was a little bit of a challenge. So you may have to kind of cut and break off some of the backer pieces there. But then I fished the line all the way up into my back, and you can kind of see how I've got it set there. And then what I'll do is I'll pull this battery back a little bit and then connect it at that point. Okay, so again, you can see how long this cord is. This is my extra that's kind of playing right here. Now, if you really want to, you can cut that off, strip the wires back, mount your Anderson connectors, and then connect it to your Anderson plug. And then you're off and go. So just kind of how it works for you. Now for me, I'm probably gonna leave this long so that I can move this around depending on where I want to put it. If I want this more forward and have things behind it, it really is just up to you. Again, I'm not an electrician. I'm not a professional in any way. This is just kind of how I'm kind of going about it. But one of the nice things about this is there's 3 different wires, your positive, your negative, and your ignition. And that's one of the things you can choose to do. Now there's some additional hardware you're gonna have to go out and get if that's what you want. But if basically this is gonna go right into the corresponding parts, if you will, on the battery box, if you can see right here. Click that in, and then you're off and running. It's not terribly difficult, but it is a lot of fun. And having the option to be able to run and charge this battery off of the alternator while I'm driving allows me to run my fridge, run my oven, run anything else that I want to while I'm going, and there's just a lot of benefits for that. So that's a really, really simple way that I chose to do it. I'd say start to finish, it took me about an hour and a half or so, but that's pulling it apart, trying to figure out where things are gonna go, how it's gonna work for me. You may choose a different path, and may be a different path out there for you. So when you're looking at a wiring kit, this is the wiring kit, and this is how it works, and this is how it's all connected within the Kickass world. So, thanks.